夢が空に跳ねた別に一人でも帰れるけど
Welcome everybody to the top 10 most popular genre in anime. Yeah, I worded it differently than the title, but don't worry, we're gonna cover 100 titles. My name is Misty/Kinixia, and I realize I have over 130 different top 10s, going from obvious topics such as top 10 best shonen to really, really weird stuff like best job anime. Yeah, who would like to know about those? And anything in between. I've been giving recommendation for years, but I've never made some kind of glossary where newcomers or veterans alike could come to and find absolute masterpiece in a specific category, all under the umbrella of a single video. I must stress, however, that this list is not a factual one, it's entirely opinion driven, based on my personal taste. I'm gonna cover 10 genera with 10 titles per genre, and we'll avoid duplicates for a grand total of 100 shows. I apologize for the lengthy intro, it was pretty important to cover the ground rules, but now we can get into it.
では改めましてこちら私のクラスメイト
Number 10. Drama. I think one of the most beloved genre in the anime community is the drama tab. While most title in that category revolves around making the viewer cry, its main purpose is generally to make you connect with the characters on an emotional level. Some very successful titles include Your Lie in April, a show about a violin girl who connects with a pianist who give up on his instrument. Anohana, an anime about a group of friends who try to handle the loss of one of them. Clannad, a story about a teenage girl who's pretty ill but has a dream of making a club. Kimi no Nawa, a movie revolving around a boy and a girl who wakes up in the body of the other one. Erased, a plot about a young adult who goes back in time to rescue a fellow classmate from a tragic fate. Sangatsu no Lion, a moving tale covering the life of a shogi prodigy who meets a trio of sisters. Nana, an anime about two young girls sharing the same name and an apartment together. Cross Game, a stunning baseball-focused anime about a girl and a boy both wanting to play the game. Koe no Karachi, a touching movie about a guy who bullies a deaf girl and the repercussions it has. And finally, Angel Beats, a story revolving around a group of students who wakes up in a school where they can't die. This genre tends to mix a lot with different ones, which ends up watering it down, as the drama tags tends to be the third or fourth one describing a specific anime. If however you haven't seen all of these 10 shows and you like drama, I hope you'll get a chance to try them out. Number 9. Romance. Very akin to drama, but the tag on its own is the romance one, a genre which focus not into having the viewer connect with the characters, but the character themselves reaching one another. Romance is a very difficult genre to properly adapt. Put too much and it feels forced, put too little and it's unsatisfying. Thankfully, some does it really well, and here are 10 of my personal favorite ones. Lovely Complex, my personal favorite about a girl trying to win the affection of one guy. Toradora, a girl and a guy try to help each other fall in love and end up bonding more than they expected. Kimi ni Toroke, awkward shy girl gone for the most popular guy in school. How relatable, that happens all the time. Tsuki ga Kirei, two students who never talk to each other starts to find an affinity between them. Skip Beat, a girl who lived in the shadow of a guy now goes into the spotlight. It's a beautiful story. Kaicho wa Maid-sama, can-do girl works as a maid but get rescued by a shining knight in armor regardless. Oregairu, snarky teen bond with a few girls but in a very relatable way. It's a have-to-see-to-like show. Ore Monogatari, big lovable guy and cute girl dates each other. You can't handle all this sweetness. Spice and Wolf, a merchant and a furry walks into a bar. No, seriously, it's pretty much it. Most beloved. And finally, Bakuman. Two guys want to write a manga, a girl gets involved at some points, and no spoilers. Romance can be pretty hard to get right, so that's probably why it's paired with comedy to make what we call rom-com 98% of the time. But beyond the loving part, we got fanservice of the best kind at number 8. Number 8. Ecchi and Hentai. I'm pairing both of them as one because honestly, they achieve the same thing. I mean, it's there, it exists, and I'd be a hypocrite to say at one point in my life I didn't enjoy those to a certain extent. A lot of shows feature lewd aspect in them. It's what draws in the attention, it helps their sales, and unfortunately many suffers from abusing of the concept and not having any meat around the bone. Excuse the pun in poor taste. But regardless, some do manage to come with some fun stories, such as To Loveru, a teenage boy harvests a harem of ladies to live alongside him. Hilarious scenarios happens. Or No Game No Life, two siblings play a wide variety of games and never lose against anyone. Kill the Kill, clothes give you powers. It's really how simple I can dumb it down to. High School DxD, after dying, a memory-obsessed teenager joins the rank of fellow demons. Prison School, a formerly all-girl only school now authorized guys who fall under the strict girl regiment. And on the very deep end, you have hentai titles, which is purely adult material, such as Koito Kinenbi, which is a compilation of tiny love story with a heavy hand on the loving part. Onichichi, also known as bonding with your family members, literally. Mankatsu Happening, the story of a guy starts working in a manga cafe and hits it off with the ladies. Maki-chan to Now, the quote-unquote romantic relationship between two neighbors. And Body Transfer, a story about some students who end up switching bodies with each other and throw all respect for their body out the window. It's kind of the adult version of Kimi no Na wa. I've kept my description clean and PG-13 so nobody would get upset, but you should know unless you're an adult you shouldn't tackle these. But again, I'm not Jesus watching you, and preaching is not part of my job, so you do you, kiddo. Number 7. School and Slice of Life. School and Slice of Life usually comes paired one into the other. While they're not paramount, they do mix super well, so I made them as a whole for this entry, but I'll still try to give you 5 anime focus on the school aspect and 5 on the Slice of Life one. In the school department, some of my favorite would be Food Wars, a school focus on learning the craft of cooking. Seems dull, but it's incredibly captivating. Assassination Classroom, a story about a deadly alien who's in charge of teaching students to kill it. It'll make sense. Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, a wacky tale about a club in school and their otherworldly adventures. Silver Spoon, a school teaching about the farm life, made by the author who did Fullmetal Alchemist. Great Teacher Onizuka, the events afflicting a school but with a focus mainly targeting the class teachers, Onizuka. And while in the Slice of Life category, we have Mushishi, a story about a wandering man chasing rumor about tiny life forms scarce in the world. Natsume Yujincho, an anime about an orphan boy who can see ghosts and monsters alike. Araya the Animation, a very soothing tale about 3 female guides who travel the land to learn about its wonder. Mahotsukai no Yome, a series about the everyday life of an ancient magus who teach an apprentice. And finally, Space Brothers, a story about 2 siblings hoping to work for the Japanese NASA and their hardship to get there. Of course, there's a whole spectrum in between, but it should give you a nice starting point for either. They're just some of my personal favorite in the genre. Number 6. Sci-Fi, short for scientifical fiction, aka future stuff. That usually pairs in mecha and space in a lot of scenarios, but it's not mandatory. Some of the best titles in that category tend to leave you with a lasting impression, which I'm all about. If you want to tackle the genre, I'd recommend one of the following titles. Steins Gate, a group of science enthusiasts invents a time-traveling microwave. In a nutshell. Legend of the Galactic Heroes, the Star Wars meets Game of Thrones anime you never thought you needed, but you'll really enjoy. Made in Abyss, archaeological girl find a robot boy and they go within the depth to explore more. Planetus, girl with a fascination for space ends up picking garbage in orbit, absolutely stunning. Code Geass, kid who hates the status quo makes a rebellion with a power that can make people obey, kinda. Cowboy Bebop, space bounty hunter who pursue mischief. Ghost in the Shell, futuristic police stuff, mostly investigation, but also chases and explosion. Evangelion, alien lifeform invade Earth and they have to fight them off with giant robots. Redline, a movie about a deadly race, it's jaw-dropping. And finally, Deno Coil, a super underrated title about augmented reality with Google Glasses. Pokemon Go concept as an anime, not sponsored by Google. Sci-fi is not usually for everyone, but for those of you who enjoy the topic, I think these are some of the best ones available. Number 5, Fantasy. I had to include fantasy, I mean who doesn't like that genre? I'm also kind of pairing the magic subgenre in it cause, well, usually they're not one without the other. If you like imaginary world, those are often the fantasy tags, such as Madoka Magica, a cute show about a girl who is offered to become a magical girl to fight witches. Cardcaptor Sakura, my favorite show of all time about a girl who have to capture magical cards. Magi, folklore revolving around the Arabian tales such as Aladdin, Sinbad, or Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Little Witch Academia, an academy about Little Witch. I mean, the title's pretty self-explanatory on this one. Soul Eater, a very Halloween-ish story about students collecting soul and fighting witches again. Legend of Legendary Heroes, big adventure where magic and fun characters alike align. Tales of Symphonia, another grandiose adventure to restore the balance of the world where magic's involved. The Irregular at Magic High School, another school about magic user, it's a popular topic, trust me. A certain magical index or a certain scientific railgun, a story mixing magic and science, but it's not really for everyone though. And finally, Attack on Titan. People needs to fight off giants who eat them. It's kind of a role reversal with cattles. Fantasy is one of my personal favorite. If it's not for you, you're missing out big time in life. Number 4, comedy. Comedy, yeah, how could I not cover comedy? Bro, do you have any idea how many shows have that tag on? Like 5,000s out of about 10,000s. An adult shoves his finger in a 10-year-old's bum? Boom, comedy. Somebody dies 98% of the time in the anime, but remember episode 320 when Ichigo's face landed in that girl's jags? Boom, comedy! Anyway, my point is, it's a very easy tag to toss around, and proper shows who does the genre well should be highlighted. Those would be Gintama, a wacky world where everything is fair game, tends to parody a lot of everyday events. Ichijo, a skit-like anime about the ordinary life of girls and their over-exaggerated interpretation. Daily lives of high school boys. Jokes delivered to you in a very relatable way, make fun of stereotypes. Saiki Kasuo no Sainan. Short episodes about a guy with psychic power. It's comedy-centered. Barakamon. Guy banished to an island has to bond with new people. It's very endearing. Shirobako. A group of teens want to make an anime. There's some inception going on for sure in this one. Sket Dance, just a compilation of jokes accessible for everyone. Tonari no Seki-kun, a story about a kid bored in class and the shenanigans he builds to pass time. Space Dandy, a dandy guy and his adventure in space. Very wacky, very likable. Or finally, the Monogatari franchise, an anthology about a boy who have become a vampire and tries to help other girls. Comedy is not a tag people usually seek out, but it's something you'll land on whether you want it or not. Number 3, psychological, thriller, horror, mystery. Alright, I'll admit I'm kind of pairing all of them together because, well, they usually all correlate between them. This is probably the category with the least amount of entries, but at the same time, it's also the one with the most overall appreciation. If you make an anime in that category, you hardly ever miss the mark. I mean, unless your show is called Pupa, but otherwise you'll get masterpiece like Monster, a stellar anime about what's right or not. It will shake you up to the core. Bit old, but amazing nonetheless. Death Note, god-complex teenager finds a magical book who kills people and tries to not get caught. Parasite, some humans get infected, main character has to team up with his hand to stop them. Yeah, it'll make sense, trust me. Shinsekai Yori, a small village where some children starts to disappear. ReZero, guy in the new world keeps reloading save state every time he dies. He's a hacker, I tell ya. Psychopaths, cops monitor how you should feel and shoot you if you're suspiciously out of range. Higurashi, 3 words, people going crazy. Death Parade, newly dead people have to play a game. It's like Jigsaw the anime, with less blood and more morals. Mirai Nikki, cell phone Hunger Games. Tokyo Ghoul, cannonballs gone wild. Never thought seeing a girl eat another girl and go, whoa, Nelly. I kind of like all the anime in that category. I hope you'll have a chance to try them out because they're all fascinating. Number 2, Adventure. One of my favorite style of anime. There's nothing like a soulful quest spent over multiple episodes to give a show a purpose. Whether it's wanting to rescue a princess in distress, become pirate king, or straight up slay god, there's just something that keeps you hooked and make you bond with the character, hoping they'll achieve their personal goals. Such as in One Piece. Yeah, you thought I'd skip this one? Random kid eats a magical fruit who gives him rubber-like features. You want to be a pirate king. Yo ho ho. Hunter x Hunter. 10-year-old set out to become a professional hunter. Best anime all around if you ask me. Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles. Princess loses her memory and her friend must travel to other worlds to recover them. Katanagatari. Historical adventure about collecting several blades. Rurouni Kenshin. Wandering swordsman with a heavy past must face various foes. Konosuba. Quest to slay evil but with a less than capable party. Inuyasha. Girl landed in a new world and gained power over a demon she ordered around like a dog. Akatsuki no Yona. Girl's innocence get tainted after a daddy complex goes south. The Grey Man. Covenant of exorcists work together to slay demons with the weirdest powers. I mean, boots? Really? And finally, 7 Deadly Sins. Princess seek out 7 legendary warriors to rescue her kingdom. Groping involved. Not necessary, but involved nonetheless. This comes down to personal preference, but adventure is something I really love, and I think it also applies to a lot of people, so if you don't know where to start, I think this is a safe bet. And finally, action. Of course, action. There's no way beside it. If you didn't see your favorite franchise so far, I'm hoping this is where I redeem myself. Action is to anime what violence is to video game, or love to music. Not obligatory, but really hard to mess up. Some fine example being Berserk. A wandering badass mercenary joins a troop and rises in the ranks. This anime is metal as fuck. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. 2 alchemist brothers search for the Philosopher's Stone to restore their bodies. My Hero Academia. Story about a kid who gained the most OP skill and can't control it for 150 chapters and counting. I mean, come on, get it together, man. One Punch Man. Bald man's punch can destroy universe. This never gets old, no matter who he fights. Fate Stay Night. Historical figures play the Hunger Games starring waifus and badass alikes. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. WTF the anime. No, seriously, no one can sum up JoJo in one sentence and cover everything. I dare you. Katekyoshi Hitman Reborn. Useless boy gets trained by an infant baby to become the head of a mafia organization. iShield 21. Little bitch who's used to run away finds a skill useful playing American football. Yeah, sports anime, they're a thing too. Haikyuu. Also known as I Wanna Go to the National Volleyball Edition. And last but not least, Gurren Lagann. Wimpy kid grows some balls and becomes someone reliable. I know I probably didn't cover the one title you had in mind begging for me to list. I'm very sorry I couldn't put all of them in. But the 100 who did make the cut definitely had a huge impact on me as a person, and I hope it can do the same for you. Maybe you've been pushing back one of those titles, maybe you've seen all of them, which rendered those last 15 minutes entirely useless, but I hope maybe you can favorite this video and come back to it whenever you'll be looking for something new to watch. There is not a more precious currency in the world than your own time. I am ever so grateful when you give me some of yours, and I hope I can pay you back by saving you countless hours of research with this video, where you would search what to watch next. Don't feel the need to like this video or subscribe, but please do think of it whenever you'll want to binge an anime and you don't know what to watch next. And if we don't see each other ever again, I hope whatever time you have left, you spend it blissfully. Thank you so much for everything. I'll see you hopefully next time.
I've been through the hard times, I've been on the wrong side, I've been ashamed. So many memories, you know I'd like to change.